It's amazing to think how much content came out of a 15-year-old game, and how 15 years later people still want to play it, and not just want, demand, beg. They need this game. But what about it draws people in and compels them to create content for this game? I mean, the current version of the game, Retail, has been getting expansions and updates for the past 15 years, and yet we seem to have reached a renaissance for WoW content. So what magic is in this game, and why do people love it? Why are there die-hard fans that have spent a little bit of time on a game that has been only out for a few months? Well, the long short of it is community. So I played vanilla back when it first launched, however only for about 2 months. I ran out of allowance money. I did play a little bit more in the Burning Crusade, and for that limited time, I fell in love with the concept of the game. The game builds your community in a way that no other modern game seems to do. Though this 15-year-old game has archaic systems that don't necessarily translate well to fun, the modern day design philosophy, there is wisdom here in the decisions of these archaic systems to form the juggernaut that WoW was in the past. The biggest part of the community is ironically what seems to limit it the most. Each character exists only in one server, and you can't freely move around. So there is a hard limit to the number of people in your server, but the people you see in your server will always be there, if they want to play that character they created, that is. So you will constantly be seeing the same names. You aren't locked up in here with them, they are locked up in here with you. Nowadays, the push in the modern MMO market is to make the biggest game with the biggest population and being bigger than the other MMOs. So to create the illusion of being a big game, they introduced what I helped believe kill vanilla WoW in a big way. Cross-Realm Party Finder allows you to party up with people who aren't in your server, and now seems to be the industry standard. And this degenerated the community built up in each server. You now don't need to worry about your reputation or make friends, since you will always pair up with random strangers who you will realistically never see again. And if you do, well, you both won't remember each other. Sure, now you don't have to spend time in trade chat looking for tanks or healers or people to help you with a random quest. But now no one talks to each other, because at this point, you're basically playing a single-player game. And yes, sometimes you still do a silent run in Classic, but there have been so many times I've run into the same people in WoW Classic that we just kind of chill and we vibe and we mesh. Because the population of the server is permanent, reputation matters here. People need to be friendly, because if you make enemies, your pool of people to clear content with shrinks. And as a patrician tank player myself, and not a dime a dozen DPS peasant, there have been times I have refused to group with certain players who have wronged me. It is a dog-eat-dog world out there. Also, this reputation system is all player-driven, so it can lead to some friendly player exchanges. Speaking of clearing content, here comes a controversial hot take. In my opinion, it is good that the content is either hard or hard to accomplish. Back in vanilla WoW, it was stated that only 119 guilds actually beat all of the content. This feeds into the reputation system. Joining a guild of players also as skilled or dedicated as you to complete all the content is a status symbol, and not one that you can buy. An earned one, and it commands respect, even though some people could be jealous. Like literally, not everyone can poop socket and become the #1 on the server, especially with the stupid, archaic honor system we have. This game is a time investment which rewards you for your time spent playing, but that feeds into the scarcity. In my case, I understand that playing in a smaller guild means that my chances of getting gear from a world boss is pretty small, though trying is still a hell of a lot of fun. And for those who can't dedicate their lives to a game, it always gives them a goal to work towards when they have the time. It allows aspirations to grow. That means you want to play it more, to grind better gear, better materials, or better connections to help give that edge to win it all. People keep playing to be that player who becomes an actual hero in the world of Warcraft, and not a hero because the story told you you were. There are plenty of times I have run into players who comment now that they are happy that they finally got that drop or gear they've always wanted but never got back in vanilla. Those aspirations lasted 15 years and now they have come to fruition. There is also a very great sense of identity here as far as faction class. You develop a loyalty to your faction that allows you to talk garbage to the other faction, and you develop pride in what you choose to align yourself with, because you are being held hostage for up to 10 days and Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing. But don't worry, you can let out your pent-up aggression on the people who didn't choose your same faction. Because the two factions are allowed to dominate each other in the wilds, this also helps reinforce your loyalty to your faction. And when you get corpse camped by one random player, of course you immediately assume all other players in that faction are the same, and you have no pity as you try to wipe them from the map. Also, each class does bring value to your party, so you can rally around your unique roles and contributions, though not all classes are created equal. All of these aspects bring together a community that allows the game to live far beyond its current expansion set. The kind of game that people want to play because it just isn't available nowadays with the ways that developers try to make their game more accessible or convenient. WoW Classic was truly an amazing, unique experience that I'm grateful I was alive just in time to be able to level up with everyone else. With Blizzard continuing to make questionable choices going forward, and the player base itself doing everything it can to min-max the fun out of the game, we probably won't get another experience like leveling through WoW Classic again and building up this amazing community. Until Burning Crusade Classic,